Hello there, and welcome to this special boring history episode on the rather disturbing lives of the people who chose to do absolutely nothing in the bustling heart of ancient Babylon. Let me know in the comments where in the world you are tuning in from and what time it is for you right now. Make yourself comfortable. Dim the lights, breathe deeply, and let the weight of the modern world slip quietly off your shoulders. There's no rush here, no pressure, just the gentle turning of time, thousands of years ago, in a place where the Euphrates flowed slow and wide, and even the laziest of days were touched by the warm dust of ancient history. The sun has already risen over the great city of Babylon, casting its soft golden light across rooftops made of sun-baked mud brick. You lie stretched out beneath a woven reed awning, the morning heat only just beginning to stir the air. The scent of clay and river reeds surrounds you, mingling with the distant waft of barley baking into flatbread. Somewhere nearby, a donkey brays lazily, as if it too is reluctant to begin the day. You have nothing to do today. No duties to the temple, no errands to run through the maze of dusty streets, no crops to tend in the canal-fed fields beyond the city's thick, sun-bleached walls. It's a day for resting, for listening to the silence between sounds. A day to stretch your limbs slowly, to feel the woven mat beneath you, the gentle pull of the linen tunic draped over your body, and to be utterly untroubled by time. Above you, the sky is a soft wash of pale blue, with only the faintest strokes of cloud trailing westward. A low, dry breeze stirs the hanging date fronds, which rattle ever so slightly, like whispers between the gods. Babylon is not silent, but its noise is far from jarring. It's a murmur of distant conversations, the rhythmic sweep of brooms across courtyards, the faraway clink of bronze tools in the hands of someone else. Someone working, not you, even in laziness. Life in Babylon has its rhythms. You listen to the fluting call of a street vendor, pushing his cart of pomegranates along the road just outside your home. His voice rises and falls in a sing-song cadence passed down from generations before. Words unchanged, even if the fruit ripens anew each year. But you do not rise. You simply observe, your mind floating somewhere between the shadow of your doorway and the rippling memory of dreams. The house around you is simple, but it's yours. Or rather, it belongs to your father's family, passed down through uncounted moons. Built from clay and stone, it breathes coolness in the heat. The walls are thick, the windows narrow. A palm wood stool sits in the corner, unused for now. A low, circular table waits quietly, bare except for a small clay jug half full of watered beer. The scent of it drifts faintly toward you, sour, earthy, familiar. On days like this, time seems to stretch, to ripple like the water in the irrigation canals just outside the city gates. You remember walking by them once, watching the silt rise in little clouds behind the sandals of a boy not much younger than yourself. But that was another day. Today there is no walking, no watching, no remembering. Only being, only the warmth of the rising sun on your feet and the cool brush of shade on your face. A neighbor's rooster calls out once, then again, startled by nothing. A woman sings softly nearby as she pounds grain into flour. The sound is rhythmic, hypnotic. the gentle repetition of task woven with melody. She sings in old Akkadian, her tune ancient, unhurried, a lullaby for the wheat. The thud of the pestle is like a heartbeat for the city, one you feel through your bones as you lie still. Someone passes your door. You hear the shuffle of sandals on dry earth. A voice murmurs a greeting. Another responds. They do not knock, nor expect your presence. They know it is your day of rest. In Babylon, laziness is not always a vice. The scribes might write of kings and conquest, but the people, they know the value of stillness. There is talk of gods and omens, of course. Every corner of life is touched by the divine here. A priest once told you that resting too long in the same place might invite dreams from the god Nabu, who watches over wisdom and writing. Perhaps today is one of those days. You think of Nabu's temple, rising like a sun-dappled mountain. At the city's edge, its ziggurat steps climbing into the sky, always just out of reach. What would he say, watching you now? A fly buzzes past your ear, and you wave it away gently, not even annoyed. It has as much right to the warm morning air. As you do, you shift slightly, the mat rustling beneath your hip. Somewhere in the courtyard, a clay pot cracks faintly as it cools in the morning breeze. The rhythm of laziness continues. The marketplace is alive now, but it may as well be a world away. Somewhere down the road, traders argue in soft voices over the price of lapis lazuli and riverfish. Somewhere near the canal, a scribe is teaching a boy to press wedge-shaped symbols into wet clay. You imagine the feel of the stylus in your own hand, the coolness of the tablet, the resistance of the clay. You've done it before. You'll do it again, but not today. Today your world is the soft drone of bees in the blossoming fig tree by your door, the occasional flutter of pigeons shaking dust from their wings, the smell of charcoal and oil beginning to rise as kitchens prepare the midday meal, a dish of lentils perhaps, flatbread, a smear of date syrup, nothing grand but filling, comforting. The shadows shift, growing longer as the sun lifts higher. You rise only enough to drink from the jug, the water warm but welcome. It tastes like earth and clay and the river itself. You lean back again, eyes half-lidded, not quite awake, not quite asleep. Just there, floating through time as if Babylon itself holds its breath for you. In the afternoon, the heat will deepen. The city will grow quiet again, workers retreating to shaded corners, animals sheltering beneath trees. You might move then, perhaps to the inner room where it's cooler, where the walls are thicker and the floor smoother. Or you might not move at all. There's no expectation, no need. Even the gods, it is said, take naps. You remember your grandfather telling you stories in this very courtyard. How he once saw King Hammurabi from a distance, tall and stern, a man of laws and order. But even the king must have had days like this, when the world turned gently without him, when nothing was asked but stillness. Perhaps the tablets of law were written on such a day, in the shade, with a soft breeze and the scent of baked barley in the air. As the sun reaches its zenith, you hear the first lull of silence spreading through the city. Work pauses. The air hangs heavy with warmth and stillness. A lizard skitters across the courtyard stones, pausing beneath a broken pot. You smile to yourself, eyes still half closed. The city breathes with you, slow and steady. Babylon does not hurry. It never has. And so, as the light shifts and the hours pass like drifting clouds over ancient stone, your lazy day in this city of old continues without interruption. The bustle stays at a distance, respectful of your quiet. The gods do not speak today. They watch, perhaps, amused at your refusal to stir. Or maybe they approve. After all, the temples will always be there. The fields will always wait. But peace, true peace, is fleeting and precious. You allow your breath to slow, your limbs to soften once again into the mat beneath you. Dust dances gently in a shaft of sun near the doorway. Somewhere in the distance, a child's laugh rises, then fades. A breeze brushes against your cheek. The sun, now beginning its slow descent, spills long streaks of honey-coloured light across the narrow streets and quiet rooftops of Babylon. Shadows stretch gently along the mud-brick walls, crawling toward the cool, shaded corners where you still lie, half awake, half asleep, in that soft, in-between place where time seems to thicken, where thoughts drift like silt in the river. The air, warm and fragrant, holds the hush of midday like a whispered prayer. You do not stir yet. There is no need. The scent of crushed herbs floats on the breeze now. Mint and coriander, maybe even a hint of dill, rising from someone's kitchen nearby, where a pot simmers quietly over a low fire. It is the kind of scent that brings no urgency, only a sense of comfort, of knowing that food is being made, slowly, the way it always has been. It will be ready when it is ready. You shift your weight on the mat, your shoulder brushing against the worn fabric of a woven pillow, its edges frayed with age and use. The texture is rough, familiar. A soft clinking sound comes from a clay wind chime above your head. 3 hollow reeds strung together with twine, swaying gently with the breath of the city. It's the kind of sound you don't notice until the rest of the world quiets enough to hear it. From the open doorway, the courtyard is awash in pale golden light. A lizard moves along the base of the far wall, tail flicking, eyes unblinking. You watch it with idle interest. You don't remember the last time you paid attention to a creature so small. It moves with purpose, but no rush. Like the city, like the day, like you. In the distance, the low drone of voices rises again. Lazy conversations echoing from shaded porches and rooftop alcoves. The people of Babylon speak softly during this part of the day, their words stretched long by the heat, their laughter slow and unhurried. They talk of simple things, how the cucumbers grew in the garden, whether the fishmonger's son might finally marry, which priest's goat ate the temple figs. You smile faintly. It is a city of stories, of quiet dramas played out not in palaces or temples, but in sun-drenched courtyards like yours. A child's voice calls out, sharp and clear, then fades behind a wall. Somewhere, someone is sweeping again. The bristles of their broom whisper across stone and dust rhythmically, like a mother's lullaby. You wonder what it would feel like to lift that broom today, to press your feet against the warm stone and move with such deliberate calm. But then the thought passes, dissolving like smoke. Not today. Today is for listening, for letting the world pass by without interference. You rise slowly now, only enough to lean against the wall behind you. The mud brick is warm from the sun, its surface textured and familiar. You press your hand against it for a moment, grounding yourself in the stillness. The jug of watered beer still waits nearby, its surface beaded with fine dust. You take another sip, the taste now softer, mellowed by time and heat. You let it linger on your tongue before swallowing. Outside, the world hums in low harmony. You hear the creaking wheels of a wooden cart as it rolls over packed dirt. A merchant is returning home, perhaps, or heading toward the docks to wait for the barges coming in along the Euphrates. The river is the city's quiet lifeline. It booms, moving, always giving, but never rushing. You picture it in your mind, broad and brown and shimmering under the late afternoon sun. Fishermen tossing nets, children playing along the banks, women washing linens, the fabric slapping against smooth stones. The marketplace, by now, has slowed to a trickle. Most vendors have packed their goods, retreating into shaded stalls or back rooms. A few linger, those who trade in shadows and whispers, who wait for twilight to stir the city once more. But they are not for you, not today. Your world is smaller now, simpler. In your mind, you drift toward the ziggurat again. Its steps tower in memory, even if you've only ever seen them from a distance. You imagine climbing them slowly, one by one, each step worn by centuries of feet. The top is said to touch the heavens, where gods whisper secrets to the priests. But would they whisper to someone like you? Perhaps. Or perhaps silence is the greater gift. The light is changing again. Softer now. The hard brilliance of noon has given way to the amber hush of late afternoon. The colours around you deepen. Red clay, golden straw, olive green leaves trembling against the breeze. A bird calls out from the rooftop. 3 short notes, then silence. You tilt your head, listening. No answer comes. Just the sound of your own breathing, slow and even. You think of the elders, those who sit beneath the tamarisk trees at the edge of the city, smoking from long pipes and speaking of days that were and days that will be. They say a life is not measured by deeds alone, but by the quiet between them. The days when you choose to simply be. You wonder if this day will be one you remember, or if it will slip away, like all the others, into the soft folds of forgotten time. The courtyard is beginning to cool. The heat lifts gently from the stones, replaced by the first touch of evening air. You rise, finally, stretching your arms overhead. The joints of your shoulders pop softly, a reminder that even stillness carries its own wear. You walk barefoot across the courtyard, each step slow and measured. The clay beneath your feet is cracked and warm. You pause at the doorway, gazing out into the narrow street beyond. A woman walks past, balancing a basket on her head. She does not look at you, but she hums to herself, the melody low and lovely. The sound lingers after she's gone, as if the air itself is reluctant to let it go. You turn back into the house and walk to the small inner room where the walls are thickest, the air coolest. Here, there is only a small oil lamp and a rolled mat. You settle down once more, the quiet wrapping around you like a second skin. A beetle crawls along the floor, oblivious to your presence. You watch it for a long moment, marveling at its tiny, determined steps. It disappears beneath a crack in the wall, vanishing as if it had never been. You smile again. This is how life moves in Babylon. Softly, gently, unnoticed. Outside, someone is lighting a brazier. You smell the first curl of smoke, sharp and woody. The lamps along the city's main roads will be lit soon. They'll glow like tiny stars against the rising dusk, guiding those who still move through the evening. But you won't be among them. Not tonight. The world outside can wait. You lie back, arms folded beneath your head, eyes tracing the pattern of fading light on the ceiling. The mud brick above you is etched with shallow marks, scratches from tools, from time, from memory. You imagine who made them. A builder, maybe, or a child playing with a shard of pottery. You'll never know. But they're here with you now, in this room, in this quiet, and so another hour passes, and another. The air cools further. Night is close now. You feel it settling over the city like a great woven blanket, covering noise, softening shapes, dimming the edges of thought. Somewhere beyond your walls, an old man sings a prayer to Ishtar, his voice wavering with age but still clear. You do not know the words, but you understand them all the same. They are words of thanks, of stillness, of the beauty in doing nothing. You close your eyes. The sounds of the city fade. The wind chime above your head still sways gently, but you no longer hear it. Your breath slows, your limbs grow heavy. The stars have arrived. They settle slowly into the velvet sky above Babylon, one by one, shy at first, then bold. Familiar constellations that have guided traders, farmers, priests and poets alike for millennia. You lie still beneath their quiet watch, nestled on your mat in the cooler, darker chamber of your house. The oil lamp flickers faintly in the corner, casting a warm amber glow over the mud brick walls. Outside, the city continues to breathe, but softer now, slower. You are still not sleeping. Not yet, but you're close. The air is thick with that special stillness only night can bring. A hush woven through with distant footsteps, an occasional cough, the gentle rustle of palms in the night breeze. Time has loosened its grip. It no longer pulls you forward. It just flows, like the Euphrates under moonlight, broad, ancient, indifferent. Your body feels heavy now, not with fatigue, but with calm. There is nothing left to be done, no expectation, no rush. The rhythm of this lazy day has lulled you into a state somewhere between memory and dream. You let your hand trail across the woven edge of your mat, feeling the grooves and fibers, the quiet texture of everyday things that so often go unnoticed. Even that simple motion feels ceremonial now, part of the unfolding stillness. A night bird calls, a soft three-note song that echoes from the rooftops. You remember hearing that same call as a child, lying in your father's house, wondering if the bird was speaking to the stars. Perhaps it still is. Perhaps it always was. Beyond the walls of your courtyard, the city of Babylon glows in its own way, not with the harsh brilliance of modern lights, but with the soft gleam of oil lamps in windows, torches in niches, braziers burning low. Light flickers against clay walls, dances across ancient stone. It is a city alive in its rest, stretching out beneath the stars like a lion after a long, slow day. A neighbor's voice drifts across the stillness, a lullaby, barely above a whisper. She sings to a child, The words old, older than the walls around you. The same songs sung by generations past, in times of war and peace, of harvest and drought. You cannot make out every word, but the melody wraps around you like a soft blanket. You picture her rocking gently beside a low bed, a tiny clay lamp casting shadows across her face, the child curled in her arms, not yet aware of the world's enormity. You think of how this city cradles all its people that way, each home a quiet breath, each breath part of a larger rhythm. Your room is dark now, the lamp nearly gone. Only the faintest glow remains, a small flickering reminder that time has not stopped, only slowed. The scent of warm oil and ash lingers, mingling with the smell of baked clay, of old linen, of night. You listen, and then you hear it, the faint ripple of water. Not nearby, but not far either. The Euphrates moves slowly through the night, its surface kissed by starlight. You imagine the barge poles creaking, the ropes stretching and groaning as they rock gently against the stone moorings. The river is the same river that has always been. It does not hurry, and neither do you. You rise slowly, carefully, barefoot on cool stone. The air in the inner room is still, but just beyond the door, it carries a whisper of dampness from the river. You step out into the courtyard. The moon is high now, silver and round, suspended perfectly above the narrow street beyond your wall. The city is still, so still it feels almost sacred. A cat slinks along the edge of the rooftop, its eyes catching the moonlight. You meet its gaze for a moment, and then it moves on, silent as a shadow. Somewhere in the distance, a temple gong sounds once, low, resonant, fading into silence. A signal for the priests, perhaps. Or just the hour, reminding itself that it exists. You cross the courtyard and open the outer door quietly. The hinges groan, but not harshly, just enough to announce your presence to the night. The street beyond is empty. Dust glows faintly in the moonlight. A few doors remain open, letting the night air cool the warm clay interiors. You begin to walk, slowly, barefoot, your steps soft against the packed dirt. Babylon at night is a different world. The market stalls are shuttered. The guards at the city gate doze in their corners, spears resting lightly against their shoulders. The dogs, which barked all afternoon, are curled into themselves, their breathing deep and even. The canals gleam under the moon, narrow ribbons of silver winding through the city like threads of silk. You pass a garden, a small one, behind a scribe's house. There's a pomegranate tree near the wall, its leaves black against the sky. You pause a moment, then reach up and brush your fingers against the bark. Cool, rough, alive. Beyond the garden, you reach a small square, where a fountain murmurs softly. You remember coming here as a child, dipping your hands into the basin to splash your face. You do so again now, cupping the water gently, watching it pour through your fingers. It feels the same, cool and clean, a gift from the gods. You sit by the fountain for a while. The stone bench is worn smooth, shaped by hundreds of bodies across hundreds of nights like this one. You lean back against the wall behind you, eyes lifted to the sky. Orion hovers above the ziggurat now, his stars steady and sharp. The ziggurat itself is dark, its grand temple atop, closed until dawn. But you can feel its presence, like a mountain watching in silence. You wonder who else is awake. A priest, preparing for morning rites perhaps, or a lonely merchant counting his ledgers by lamplight, or someone like you, just walking, existing. A breeze stirs again, brushing the hem of your tunic, lifting the edge of your hair. It carries with it the faintest trace of incense. Sweet, smoky, familiar. Someone has lit a burner near the temple district. A quiet offering, unseen but deeply felt. You begin your walk home just as the first faint glow of dawn touches the eastern sky. The stars do not vanish all at once. They linger, like guests reluctant to leave a beautiful evening. One by one they fade, giving way to a softer light, the promise of another day. Your feet find their way through the sleeping city, every corner known, every turn familiar. Babylon does not change overnight. It waits patiently for the world to wake again. By the time you reach your courtyard, the birds have begun their morning songs. High liquid chirps and trills, cascading gently across the rooftops. You pause once more in the doorway, breathing in the sweet scent of earth and ash, of fig leaves and morning dew. Inside, the lamp is out. The mat is still warm from earlier. You lie down again, body heavy with the calm of night. A thin, soft blanket lies nearby, untouched since morning. You draw it gently over yourself, tucking the edge beneath your chin. Outside, the first vendor calls out, sleepy, yawning, offering fresh bread. You smile, eyes closed. The city is stirring, but you are not ready to move just yet. The morning creeps in like a polite guest, knocking softly at the doors and windows of Babylon. Pale golden light spills once again into your courtyard, not with urgency, but with a familiar, gentle rhythm. There is no rooster call this time, no sudden shout from the streets, just the hush of light returning, filling the space where dreams had quietly curled. You stir beneath the thin blanket, your body shifting only slightly, as though unsure whether the night has truly ended. The mat beneath you is still warm from your own sleep, and the air carries a subtle coolness from the night just past. You lie still, not out of tiredness now, but out of choice. The stillness of the day before has followed you into this morning. The laziness of Babylon is not bound to a single afternoon. It lingers, slow and steady, like the river that cradles the city in its quiet arms. From the street beyond your courtyard wall, you hear the faint creak of a wooden gate being opened. A woman calls gently to a child. A goat bleats softly, a sound that rises and falls like a sigh. Life is beginning again, but in no great rush. There are no clocks in Babylon, no alarms, only light and warmth, and the natural pull of the day as it unfolds. You stretch now, long and slow. Your arms reach above your head, and your toes push forward under the light cover. The joints in your back pop softly, a reminder of your body's age, whether you are 20 or 60. You sit up slowly and gaze out at the light-dappled wall across from you. Dust motes float like stars caught in slow motion, turning and drifting through the beam of morning sun. There is water waiting in a shallow bowl beside your mat. You pour a little over your hands, the coolness tingling across your skin. You wipe your face, not to wake yourself, but to refresh, to mark the beginning of another day of unhurried thought and gentle presence. Even the act of washing is slow here. The water splashes quietly, no more than a whisper. You rise and walk barefoot into the courtyard, pausing under the reed awning where you spent the early hours of the previous day. The floor is dappled with light and shadow. A few birds hop across the stones, tilting their heads at you, unbothered. One of them pecks at a fig skin left behind near the wall. You do not shoo them away. You sit once again, the mat crackling softly beneath you, your limbs folding without effort. You feel like a stone in a stream, solid, unmoving, letting life pass gently around you. You take another sip from the beer jug, now filled anew. It's slightly bitter this morning, but familiar. Clay, barley, and thyme. The taste of the city. Beyond your walls, Babylon continues to hum softly. You hear the slow clatter of pottery, someone rinsing bowls at a courtyard well. A short burst of laughter echoes from a rooftop above. A pair of sandals shuffle past your doorway. Someone sneezes. A donkey brays in the distance, half-hearted. None of these things pull you from your peace. They simply exist, part of the gentle fabric of this place. You think for a while of what you might do today. You could walk again, back toward the fountain, or farther perhaps towards the outer gardens, where figs and lentils grow in tidy rows. You could lie on your back in the shade of a tamarisk tree and watch the birds flit above. Or you could stay exactly where you are, letting the city breathe around you while you remain unmoved, unbothered, untouched by time's demands. The gods, after all, are patient. You remember a story told to you once by a clay seller near the edge of the market. She said that in the very early days, before even the great ziggurats were built, the gods slept during the daytime, nestled in the warmth of the sun like cats on a windowsill. They let the world turn without them, trusting that the people would carry on in silence. Only at night did they rise to listen, to guide, to whisper dreams into the hearts of kings and shepherds alike. You wonder if the gods are still sleeping now, if they dream as you do, slow, drifting visions of stars and rivers and warm bread. Perhaps they too crave laziness once in a while. Perhaps they too pause their divine workings to feel the hush of a soft morning wind through a curtain of reeds. You close your eyes not to sleep, but to listen more deeply. The city sounds are faint now, like distant music. You hear a rhythmic tapping, someone weaving cloth likely. The loom's beat is steady, soothing. A mother speaks to her child in soft syllables, calming, teaching, guiding. The child responds with a giggle, then silence. Time passes this way, in waves, not marked by hours, but by light and by sound, and by the slow unfolding of thoughts. Later, perhaps, you will eat. There will be lentils again, and warm flatbread with sesame seeds pressed into the surface. Perhaps a few olives brought in from the north. Maybe a fig, if the vendor still has them. You imagine the weight of the food in your hand, the warm roughness of the bread, the sharp salt of the olive. You are not hungry yet, but the idea of food drifts gently through your mind, like a breeze through an open window. The shadows grow shorter. A neighbour passes by and calls out a greeting, not loudly, but with a soft familiarity. You nod in return, raising your hand slowly. They do not stop. They do not need to. The exchange is enough, a brief reminder that you are not alone, even in stillness. You look up at the sky, pale blue now, clear and soft. A single white cloud drifts slowly across it, shapeless and perfect. You watch it for a long while, until your eyes grow heavy again, not with sleep, but with the weightlessness of thought, with the comfort of having no destination. The city moves, the river flows, the sun climbs higher. But you do not rush. This is not idleness. It is something older, something deeper, a kind of sacred rest. The priests speak of the Sabbath, of holy days of stillness, where nothing must be done but breathing and being. Perhaps every day in Babylon carries a little of that sacredness, if you know how to look for it. The wind picks up softly now, carrying with it a whisper of silt and river mud. It smells faintly of damp reeds and clay pots drying in the sun. It curls around the corners of your robe and stirs the hanging fronds above your head. You inhale deeply, then let the breath go, long and slow. A pigeon flutters down beside the mat, cooing low. It picks at something invisible on the stone. Then, without fanfare, it takes off again, rising into the quiet sky. You watch it go. Soon, the city will begin to rouse in earnest. Children will run through alleyways. Merchants will reopen their stalls. Oxen will be yoked to carts, and temple doors will creak on their hinges. But for now, in this moment, the hush still holds. Shaya, warmth is gentle. The light is kind, and you are still. No need to hurry, no need to rise. Let the next moment come when it is ready. The sun now hangs high in the sky, no longer gentle and tentative, but glowing with full authority. Still, it does not shout. It warms, it blesses. Its golden light settles on rooftops and courtyards, on palm fronds and barley fields, on the baked clay bricks of Babylon, giving everything the shimmer of dust-laced gold. You have not moved much since morning, a few steps perhaps, a change of place within the courtyard, a sip of beer, a stretch of the limbs. But even these small actions carry the weight of intention, and even they are optional. Time in Babylon is not measured by tasks completed, but by the way the day feels as it unfolds. And this day feels like silk unrolling. Smooth, slow, a little warm at the edges, the quiet remains. Not silence, for Babylon is never truly silent, but a deep and steady quietness that holds all things in balance. The city breathes around you, like a great animal asleep in the sun. You feel the rhythm of it without needing to leave your spot. Sounds drift lazily into your courtyard. A distant splash from a child dropping a stone into a water basin. The clack of a wooden spoon against the inside of a cooking pot. The soft clatter of date seeds poured from a bowl onto a mat for sorting. Your thoughts are slow too, like reeds drifting on the current. You think of the people around you, not in detail, not with concern, just a soft awareness of their lives brushing gently against your own. The man who sells honeycombs near the canal, the woman who embroiders cushions with scarlet thread, the Boy who sweeps the temple steps with the reverence of someone touching the divine. They exist, as you do, in the soft outline of the day. From where you sit, you can see a patch of sky framed perfectly between two crumbling walls. It is a square of blue that never quite stays the same. The light shifts, the colour deepens. A bird glides across it without sound. That patch of sky is like a window into something eternal. Vast, indifferent, comforting. You let your gaze rest there, your breathing slowing to match the gentle drift of the clouds. The smell of roasting onions and garlic now fills the air, drifting from a nearby home. Someone has begun preparing the afternoon meal. You can almost picture it. Flat stones arranged to hold a cooking pot, flames licking up from dry reeds and straw. The cook crouched nearby, fanning the fire with a palm frond, her motions unhurried and knowing. The scent triggers something in your memory. An old festival, perhaps, or a quiet meal with someone long gone. But the memory doesn't need to be clear. It's enough that the feeling remains. A pot cracks in the distance, and the sound rings out like a tiny bell. A few pigeons flutter upward, disturbed, their wings brushing the sky in soft grey arcs. You watch them disappear over the rooftops, then return your attention to the heat radiating gently from the bricks beneath your hand. The ziggurat remains a quiet presence at the edge of your awareness. You can't see it from here, but you know it is there, rising into the sky like a giant stairway to the stars. You wonder if the priests are awake now, if incense is already curling upward from the temple altars, if prayers have begun to rise with the smoke. Perhaps, but none of that touches you today. You shift into the shade now, your limbs feeling languid, as though sculpted from sun-warmed wax. The blanket you used last night lies folded neatly beside the wall. You reach out and rest your hand on it, feeling its texture. Rough, soft, familiar. A few grains of sand cling to the fabric, catching light like tiny stars. Everything here seems made of earth and sky. A neighbour's door creaks open. A short conversation floats over the wall. Two voices speaking in a tone too soft to follow. Then a quiet laugh. Then silence. Not an awkward silence. A full one. You close your eyes for a moment, letting that fullness settle around you like a second blanket. It is near the hour of rest now. Not sleep exactly, but a city-wide exhale. The hour when the streets begin to empty again, when tools are laid down, and the shade is sought not out of necessity, but out of deep cultural rhythm. A daily pause, honoured like a ritual. Even the dogs, usually restless and sniffing along the streets, curl into the corners of courtyards and wait for the sun to shift. You think of the Euphrates again, of the wide water that moves quietly through the heart of the city. You picture the banks lined with reeds, the children dipping their toes into the muddy shallows, the boatmen leaning back with eyes closed, trusting the river to carry them. The water is always there, even when unseen. Just like time, just like rest, you return to your mat. The courtyard has changed since morning. The shadows now are long again, stretching slowly across the stone. A dragonfly hovers near the fig tree, its wings catching the light like thin gold leaves. It hovers, then darts away, as if suddenly remembering it has somewhere to be. You envy it nothing. You have nowhere to be. And that is the point. Someone is playing a lyre in the next street. Just a few notes, simple and repeating. It might be a child practicing, or an elder soothing himself in the shade. The melody has no beginning and no end. It simply exists, gentle and unassuming, like the rest of this day. You let your eyes fall half closed, not to sleep, not yet, but to drift again into the lightness of now. The wind picks up for a moment, lifting the edge of a hanging cloth, stirring the leaves. You smell dust and cooking oil and the faint perfume of pressed flowers drying on a windowsill somewhere nearby. In the shadow beside your mat, a small lizard appears. It pauses, then flicks its tail and moves on, tiny claws tapping softly against the warm stone. You watch it disappear behind a clay jar filled with old reeds. Even that jar feels ancient. Its surface worn smooth, its rim chipped just enough to show that it has lived. You lean your head back against the wall. The rough clay presses gently against your hair. You breathe deeply. The air is still warm, but not harsh. The sun has softened, beginning its slow decline toward the west. There is no difference now between thought and dream, between memory and presence. Everything folds into one long, lazy stretch of time, where nothing is demanded and everything is accepted. You are exactly where you should be. Babylon holds you. The sun, once high and bold, is now slanting lower in the western sky, casting long bands of amber light across the rooftops and walls of Babylon. It is not setting yet, not quite, but it is thinking about it. The city too begins its slow shift, preparing not for a rush of action, but for a gentler mode of existence. Evening in Babylon doesn't arrive suddenly. It glides in on warm breezes and softened footsteps, like silk laid over the shoulders. You remain in your courtyard, your body softened by stillness. There is no need to move. The day has asked nothing of you, and in return you have asked nothing of it. There is a mutual understanding between you and this ancient living city, that rest is a form of participation, a quiet honouring of time's endless unfolding. You've moved just once or twice, perhaps to refill the small jug of watered beer, or to nibble at a round of flatbread left from the morning meal. The bread is dry now, but satisfying. You tore it into small pieces slowly, letting each bite rest on your tongue. The flavour is mild, grain, dust, and heat. The taste of something made with human hands and fire, and left to wait until it was needed. The shadows in your courtyard are longer now. They stretch like cats along the walls, curling into the corners. The lizard that visited earlier is gone, replaced by a pair of pigeons that have landed near the fig tree, cooing softly, their heads bobbing as they search for crumbs. You hear their wings ruffle as they settle in, and then the city is quiet again. Babylon's streets are quieter too. The market stalls have folded. The square where children played has emptied. The old men who argued in the shade have returned to their homes, their voices trailing off like smoke. Now and then, a cart rolls past, its wheels creaking under the weight of late deliveries. But most sounds are fading. The city is entering its evening breath. A neighbour across the way is lighting her oil lamp. You hear the faint scratch of flint, the whoosh of flame catching the wick, and then a soft glow spills out through her doorway. She says something to someone inside, just a few low words, and then begins to hum a melody that belongs to no one and everyone at once. It carries through the alley like the scent of warming bread. You rise, slowly. The clay floor is warm beneath your feet, the heat from the sun still trapped within the bricks. You stretch your arms high overhead, joints loosening with tiny pops and sighs. The woven mat rustles beneath your shifting weight. The air around you smells of evening now, faintly metallic, slightly sweet, tinged with the earthy scent of cooling dust. You pour the last of the beer into a shallow bowl and take it with you as you step toward the outer door. It swings open without resistance, the wood familiar beneath your palm. The quiet of the street greets you. It is not empty, not quite. A few passers-by move at a strolling pace, their heads turned toward the horizon, where the sky begins to glow with soft apricot light. You step outside and sit on the edge of the threshold, the bowl in your lap. The clay beneath you is cracked and painted by shadow. You watch a young girl carry a small basket of dates, her sandals kicking up puffs of powdery dirt. She doesn't see you. She walks with purpose, but not haste. A small cat follows her for a while, then changes its mind and curls into a shadowed corner. A few voices float from an open window. Slow talk about the weather, or maybe about a cousin's visit. You don't need to hear the details. The tone is enough. Calm, measured, familiar. You sip slowly from your bowl. The beer is warm and thin now, but it tastes of the day, of long rest and short thoughts, of barley soaked in river water, of clay stored in shade, of someone's careful hands preparing it all without you ever seeing them. Far above, the first star appears, just one, then another. The sky is soft now, the edges fading into lavender and grey. You look up and feel, as so many have before you, the slow tug of something greater. Not awe exactly, not fear, just a soft loosening, a reminder that your place in this world is small, but steady, that you are one breath among many. You finish your drink and set the bowl beside you. Down the lane, someone opens a gate. A child runs out, chased by a tired mother with flour on her sleeves. She scolds half-heartedly, then laughs. The child squeals and disappears around a corner. You smile, not at them, but at the rhythm of it, the way life pulses gently forward, even in its quietest hours. The air shifts, a breeze stirs your tunic, and the smell of the Euphrates drifts in. The scent of river reeds and damp soil, of fish and silt and old water moving through ancient channels. You haven't seen the river today, but you know it's there, just beyond the edge of the city, just beyond the edge of your thoughts. You return inside, letting the door close gently behind you. The courtyard is darker now. The glow from the neighbor's lamp stretches over your wall, flickering with a soft amber shimmer. You relight your own lamp, the flame tiny and comforting. Shadows dance along the edges of the room, not threatening, just moving, just being. You sit once more, folding your legs beneath you. The mat is warm again. You lean back against the wall, feeling its familiar roughness through your tunic. The lamp flickers beside you, its flame steady but never still, and you wait, not for anything in particular. Not for a task, or a visitor, or an ending. You wait the way stones wait, quietly, faithfully, without complaint. You wait with the knowledge that the day has passed exactly as it should, and the night will do the same. You feel the slow weight of evening settle over your shoulders. Outside, someone plays a flute. The melody is slow, almost uncertain, as though the player is inventing it note by note. You close your eyes and let it fill the space inside your chest. Each note is a drop of water, echoing through a clay jar. Each silence between them is as rich as the sound itself. This is what a lazy day in Babylon gives you. Not excitement, not achievement, but presence. The chance to feel each moment without chasing the next. To hear the silence between songs. To breathe in the dust and the dusk and the drifting stars. Your eyelids grow heavier. The flame in the lamp flickers lower. Night has deepened. It rests heavily across the rooftops of Babylon. Velvet dark and silver-edged. The sky above has grown full and heavy with stars now, thousands of them blinking through the ancient night, like the eyes of old gods, each one watching with patient stillness. They twinkle, not sharply, but gently, softened by the warmth still radiating from the clay walls and dusted streets of the city. The air is cool now, not cold, just enough to make you draw your blanket up to your chin. You are lying once again on your mat beneath the open air, where your little courtyard opens upward to the heavens. A single oil lamp flickers beside you, casting amber light along the wall. Its wick burns low, and you let it. You have no reason to chase away the dark. Wind hums gently against the reeds above, brushing across the roof with the faintest rustle. A distant sound, a soft whistle perhaps, drifts through the alley. A flute, or maybe just the wind playing tricks between the buildings. Somewhere, a dog barks once, then falls silent. The city sleeps now, but not entirely. Not all at once. Babylon, even in its sleep, stirs. The bricks beneath your mat are still warm from the sun's memory. Your fingers rest lightly on their surface, tracing small divots and imperfections made long ago, when the walls were first shaped by human hands, when this city was still new, when someone laid each clay brick with care and purpose, never guessing that one day, thousands of years later, someone like you would lie here in silence, listening to the breath of the night. You do not feel alone. There is a presence in this quiet, a kind of fullness, as if the city itself is awake, resting beside you, dreaming alongside you. Its thoughts are long and slow. They stretch over centuries. They are made of dust and firelight, of sandals tapping on stone, of prayers whispered in forgotten dialects, and here you are, part of it. You, with your body softened by the day, with your breathing slowed to match the pulse of night. You do not need to move. You do not need to speak. The world will turn without you, and you will feel it in your bones. The stars continue their quiet work above. They shift only slightly, as though rocking in place. You trace them with your eyes. The same stars the priests charted, the same ones that sailors followed upriver, the same ones that watched over lovers and warriors and farmers. It is humbling and strangely comforting. They ask nothing of you. A quiet shuffling sound comes from the far side of the courtyard. You turn your head slowly. It's only a cat, perhaps the same one that stalked the rooftop earlier. It pads silently along the wall, tail flicking, then leaps onto the water jar's rim to drink. The sound of its tongue lapping at the surface is delicate, almost like rain on dried leaves. You smile faintly, and then let your eyes drift closed. You think about the river again, the Euphrates, winding its way through the heart of the city like a sleeping serpent. Even now, even in this hour, you know it is moving. Slow, broad, eternal, barges rest tied along its banks. Nets hang limp from their posts. The fishermen sleep, as do the women who wash the clothes and the boys who throw stones. But the river continues. It does not need us to be awake to do what it does. Your mind floats along that imagined current. You follow it in thought as it passes beneath low bridges, alongside courtyards like your own, under balconies hung with drying laundry. You pass gardens, temples, kitchens, markets, all quiet now, all swaddled in the dark. You drift farther, into memory, into the silence between memories. You think of the old man who used to sit at the corner of your alley, carving figures from broken pottery shards. He would hum tunelessly, chipping away bit by bit, until the clay became birds, camels, tiny temples. No one asked why he did it. He never sold them. He simply made them and gave them away if someone asked. You wonder if anyone remembers his name. You don't, but you remember his hands and his eyes and the slow rhythm of his work. You think, too, of the woman who planted herbs in cracked jars along the edge of the street. She said the gods liked the smell. Basil and mint and thyme. When you passed by, the air would change. It would soften. Even the dogs would pause there, as if something sacred rested in the roots. The city is full of small, sacred things. None of them ask for attention. They simply are. A child's chalk drawings on a wall. A forgotten sandal beside a doorway. A single candle flickering in the temple window long after the others have gone out. You think of these things now, not as events, but as part of the city's texture, as much a part of Babylon as the ziggurat or the river. The oil lamp beside you flutters. The flame wavers, then rights itself again. You pull the blanket higher, and then slowly you sit up. The stars seem closer now, brighter maybe, or maybe your eyes have simply adjusted to this level of quiet. You rise to your feet, slow and steady. Your joints creak softly, like doors opening after a long pause. You stretch your arms above your head, then fold them across your chest. The night air touches your skin gently. You walk to the edge of the courtyard and look upward. The moon is low now, swollen and golden, resting just above the rooftops. It looks like a great bowl of honey poured out across the sky. The shadows in your courtyard have thickened, but they do not feel heavy. They feel like company. You sit again, cross-legged now, and rest your hands in your lap. And for a long time, you simply breathe. In Babylon, even the breath feels ancient. It comes slow, steady, full of dust and story. You take it in and let it go again and again, each one a thread in the long fabric of this lazy day. There is nothing left to say, nothing left to decide. You are part of something wide and wordless. Your eyes begin to close, not because you are trying to sleep, but because you are ready. The stars above you gleam. The cat curls into a tighter ball beside the jar. The lamp flickers once more, then holds steady. The night is absolute now. A thick, silken quiet drapes across the rooftops and alleys of Babylon, weaving itself into every crevice, every garden wall, every sleeping doorway. There is no wind, no music. Even the animals, once the subtle orchestra of the dark, have ceased their rustlings. The world feels suspended, held in a long, deep breath. You lie on your mat, your body half curled beneath your blanket. The oil lamp has burned low, just a stub of flame now, flickering faintly, almost shyly, as if aware of how vast and quiet the dark has become. Its light casts no more than a glow, just enough to paint the wall beside you in soft golden streaks. You don't reach for it. You don't stir. Everything you need is here. The hush, the weight of your body against warm brick, the knowledge that you are safe and still and folded into the sleeping belly of a timeless city. Sleep has not quite taken you, though you float near its edges. Thoughts wander lazily, like boats drifting without sails. One moment you are here, beneath the moon, breathing the dust and perfume of the courtyard. The next, you are somewhere else, a half-memory, a dream within a dream. You can't say when the line blurs, and you don't try to trace it. That is the gift of a lazy day in Babylon. It asks nothing. It lets you drift. You see the river again, not in waking memory now, but in the mind's soft eye. The Euphrates is broad and dark, its waters glinting faintly under starlight. You see its curve winding through the city like a ribbon of ink. See the quiet barges tied in clusters along the bank, their sails rolled tight like sleeping wings. A man dozes at the edge of a boat, his back against a pile of coiled rope. He shifts slightly in sleep, then stills. In this dream space, the river speaks, not in words, but in the language of movement. It laps gently against its stone banks. It hums deep below the surface. It tells the story of Babylon in liquid syllables that ripple outward, carrying with them the lives of all who've ever walked its edges. You dream you are floating, not in the river, but above it, suspended perhaps, like the stars above you now. The buildings stretch below like toys, the ziggurat rising from the heart of the city like a stairway to the gods. You drift over gardens with hanging vines and fig trees, over kitchens with their hearths still warm, over terraces where a clay jug sits half full beside a folded cloth. Everything below is still, the kind of stillness that only exists between the hours of true night and almost dawn. You wonder, in your drifting, who else is awake. Perhaps one of the temple priests wrapped in white, stepping barefoot across the high platform to offer a final bowl of honeyed beer to a god whose name is barely spoken. Perhaps a young woman tending her mother's lamp, watching the flame rise and fall, praying not for fortune or protection, but simply for a dream worth remembering. Perhaps a scribe hunched over a clay tablet by candlelight, scratching symbols into wet earth, trying to preserve the memory of something already fading. Or perhaps no one at all. Perhaps the city sleeps more fully than it has in 1,000 years. You feel that possibility settle in your chest, the sweetness of it. A whole city resting. You shift slightly on your mat, turning towards the open air above. The moon has lowered. Its light grazes only the highest rooftops now. Soon it will disappear behind the western wall, leaving the stars to finish the night alone. You count them again, though you never get far. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then your breath slows again, and you forget numbers. They don't matter now. The sky holds them all without asking for names. A breeze returns, soft as breath. It brushes along your cheek, across your blanket and through the courtyard like a whisper. The reeds above your head stir gently. Somewhere, wind chimes. Thin, delicate pieces of copper tinkle once, then stop. You sigh, not from tiredness, but from contentment. The breeze smells faintly of riverbank, of warm dust, of jasmine. Your ears catch a sound now, a low murmur. Not loud, not clear, just the faint chant of temple voices, echoing down from the Ziggurat's high terrace. You don't understand the words. They are old, older than any language you've spoken. But the tone is unmistakable, reverent, slow, steady. It is the language of offering, of time measured not by minutes, but by breath. You imagine the priests up there, shadows against the sky, lifting their arms toward the stars. Perhaps they are thanking the gods for another day past. Or perhaps they are asking nothing, only existing in ritual, like the river, like the stars, like you, a part of the city's slow and sacred breath. You think of clay now, of all the things it has become in this place. Bricks and bowls, tablets and idols, ovens and walls and jugs and lamps. The entire city is made from earth shaped by hand. You wonder how many hands it took to build Babylon. How many fingers pressed into soft clay? How many palms smoothed its edges? You are surrounded by the echoes of labor. Yet here in this hour, not a single hammer strikes. Not a single hand moves. The city, so full of effort, is finally at peace. You feel your limbs soften further. The mat beneath you cradles your weight, and your breath is long, slow, and full. You no longer try to follow your thoughts. They trail away like smoke. You are aware only of the cool stone beneath you, the warmth of your blanket, the hush of the sky, and the knowledge that the world beyond your courtyard does not need you. To be anywhere else, you stay like this for a long while, or maybe not long at all. Time has thinned so much, it's impossible to tell. It stretches like thread, neither ending nor beginning, just winding gently around you. You don't resist. You don't need to. You belong to the rhythm of this place now. A rhythm older than kings, older than the ziggurat, older, even, than the names carved into the tablets resting in darkened rooms below. Your eyes flutter. A star streaks silently across the sky, unnoticed by anyone but you. It disappears before you can wish. You don't need wishes tonight. You have stillness. You have dust and firelight and cool night air. You have the silence of a city that has finally remembered how to rest. The first blush of dawn arrives not with color, but with quiet. It tiptoes into Babylon like a servant with bare feet, gently pulling back the curtain of night. You do not wake all at once. Your mind, still wrapped in the gauze of dreams, rises slowly to the surface. One breath, then another. Your eyelids flutter, but stay closed. You are not yet ready to return to the world, and the world does not ask you to. This new day, like the last, begins softly. It invites rather than demands. The oil lamp beside your mat has burned out completely, leaving only a faint curl of smoke and a smudge of soot against the rim. The air has cooled during the night, and your blanket, warm from your breath and body, holds you like an old friend. There is no sound of voices yet, no footsteps, no carts, only the city breathing. Above you, the sky has shifted from indigo to blue-grey, the colour of old linen. The stars have faded, though a few stubborn ones linger near the horizon, blinking faintly, as if reluctant to leave. The moon is gone now. In its place, a pale light seeps gently into the courtyard, touching the walls, glancing off the clay, pots, turning each object into a quiet silhouette. A bird stirs, then another, and then the day begins, but not with any rush. A distant rooster calls out once, then falls silent. Somewhere nearby, a door creaks open. You hear the soft brush of a broom sweeping the threshold of a neighbour's house, the gentle rhythm of bristles on stone. That's all. No clamour, no cries. Just a slow awakening. You shift beneath your blanket, stretching your toes, then your legs, and finally your arms. The movement is unhurried, like the unfolding of a fig leaf in early spring. You sit up, spine loosening in tiny pops, and glance around the courtyard. Nothing has changed, and yet everything has changed. The air feels different now, damp with morning, sweetened by dew and faint whiffs of distant bread ovens just beginning to stir. You reach for the clay bowl that held your drink the night before. It is empty now, its inside cool to the touch. A few grains of dried barley cling to its curve. You run your fingers along the rim, slowly. The gesture means nothing, and everything. A small act of being here now. A soft rustle catches your ear. On the edge of the courtyard wall, a thin stream of smoke rises. A neighbour's fire has been kindled. The scent is unmistakable. Dried reeds and split wood catching flame after a night of rest. You smell it before you hear the soft crackle. A second later, the wind shifts slightly, and the smoke drifts above your roof, curling lazily into the morning sky. You stand, pulling your blanket with you. Your feet touch the cool clay beneath, and the sensation grounds you, gently but firmly. You fold the blanket over your arm, walk to the corner of the courtyard, where a small basin of water rests. Its surface ripples faintly, disturbed by a falling leaf. You dip your hands in. It's cool and sharp, refreshing. You splash your face, blink away the last haze of sleep, then simply stand there, letting the droplets slide down your neck. A pigeon lands nearby with a flutter and begins to peck the ground, unconcerned by your presence. Its feathers are streaked with soft grey and white, and when it moves you can hear the faint click of its beak against the stone. Another joins it, then another. You feel no urge to shoo them away. Their company is enough. You move to sit once more beneath the reed awning, where the sunlight filters through in thin golden beams. The shadows on the wall are shifting now, pulling upward with the angle of the rising sun. The warmth touches your skin delicately, like a hand that knows your name. You close your eyes again, not to sleep, but to rest inside this gentle unfolding. A woman passes by your door. She is carrying a basket, covered with a piece of cloth. She hums to herself. Something wordless, familiar. You recognize the tune, though not from any particular place. It is the kind of melody that floats from courtyards and kitchens across centuries. Always soft, always made of air and time. You think of food now, not because you are hungry, but because it is a natural part of the morning rhythm. The thought arrives like a footfall, soft, expected. There will be bread, likely, flat and warm, pulled from a clay oven and brushed with water. Perhaps a date or two, maybe a smear of goat cheese, soft and tangy. The meal will not be grand, but it will be perfect. Babylonian mornings are not about fullness. They are about balance. You rest your hands in your lap and breathe deeply. The courtyard is fully lit now. The sun, still low, has turned the walls a dusty gold. Tiny insects hover in the light, their wings catching the brightness in brief flashes. You can hear the city now, just a little. A merchant dragging his cart, a donkey braying in protest, children laughing near the public fountain. The noise is still far away, muffled, but it is waking with you. You think of yesterday, not in detail, just the feeling of it, the slow rhythm, the golden afternoon, the way the sky turned to velvet and the lamp glowed beside you. You think of how time passed without demanding anything of you. You wonder if today will be the same, and you know it will. Babylon does not rush. It teaches its people not to rush. You carry that lesson in your spine now, in your breath, in your stillness. The birds take flight. They rise from the courtyard edge in a sudden flutter, wheeling up into the morning air. You watch them arc against the blue, and for a moment you follow them, not with your body, but with your thoughts. You drift upward, above the rooftops and gardens, above the priests climbing the ziggurat steps, above the barges drifting slowly along the Euphrates, and there you are again. A breath in the body of the city, a silent presence, neither hidden nor announced. Part of the fabric of a day that knows how to wait. The breeze shifts again, and the smell of baking bread drifts toward you. You smile softly, you do not rise. Not yet. The day is still young. The world will wait. The sun has fully risen now. Its rays stretch long and soft across the rooftops of Babylon, illuminating the pale clay walls and tiled awnings with a warm, buttery glow. There is no harshness in this light, no sharp command to wake or begin. It pours gently into the world, the way a quiet thought passes through the mind. Even the shadows, those tender stripes of the past, seem to linger just a little longer, as if reluctant to let go of night. You are seated once more in your courtyard, in the same spot where so many hours have passed already. Slowly, peacefully, like honey sliding down the side of a bowl. The mat beneath you is warm from your body. The blanket lies folded nearby, still carrying the memory of your sleep. You sip a cup of water, cool and plain, and feel it settle into you like silence. Babylon is awake now, but only just. The morning has begun in layers. First, the rustling of reed blinds being lifted. Then the soft splash of water poured into basins. Then the low murmur of voices drifting between walls. Each sound enters, the day with patience. Even the animals understand. The city wakes like a well-rested elder, without hurry, without complaint, aware that the world will unfold in its own time. Somewhere nearby, a woman is grinding grain. The stone wheel hums as it circles against the flat surface, a rhythm as old as the city itself. The sound blends with the breeze, becoming part of the landscape. You do not need to look to know what she's doing. You can see it in your mind. The small pile of barley slowly being coaxed into flour, the dust rising like morning smoke, the woman's hands steady from years of repetition. A child laughs in the street, and the sound rings out like a bell. It's a clear, high laugh, unexpected and complete. For a moment it floats above the rooftops, untethered by walls or time. You smile to yourself. Babylon, for all its stone and structure, is still a place where joy finds its way through the cracks. Your stomach makes a soft noise. Not hunger, not quite. More a gentle suggestion, a reminder that the morning meal has not yet arrived. You stretch your arms slowly, feeling the last traces of sleep leave your limbs, and then settle your hands on your knees. The warmth of the clay seeps through your fingertips. A neighbor calls out a greeting across the alley. It's not addressed to you, but you hear it anyway. The tone is casual, affectionate. A few words follow. Something about dates being ready for drying. The reply is muffled, a voice from within a house, followed by laughter. You hear the door close again, the latch slipping into place with a soft clink. You begin to hum, without thinking. A tune passed down, wordless, learned through osmosis rather than teaching. The notes rise and fall with your breath, curling lazily in the shaded air. You don't sing for anyone. You don't even sing for yourself. You sing because the morning is full of space, and the tune has nowhere else to go. Soon, breakfast arrives, not from your own hand, but from the gentle courtesy of a neighbor. A small clay dish left on your doorstep while you were drifting in. Thought. You discover it only when you rise and step outside for a moment, feeling the breeze on your face. The dish is covered with a thin cloth, still warm beneath your fingers. Inside is a slice of flatbread, crisp at the edges and soft in the center, sprinkled lightly with herbs. Beside it rests a small scoop of mashed chickpeas, smooth and earthy, and a single boiled egg, its shell still faintly warm. Nothing extravagant, nothing wasted, just enough. You bow your head toward the doorway across the street. No words pass. The gesture is enough. You sit again and eat slowly. The bread cracks gently between your teeth. The chickpeas melt on your tongue. The egg, when opened, is soft and golden. Each bite carries the taste of someone's care. You pause, often between mouthfuls, not because you're distracted, but because the stillness of the morning is too lovely to ignore. As you eat, a light breeze moves through the alley. It stirs the edge of your mat. It carries with it the scent of wet clay and dried fruit. A few leaves tumble lazily across the stones, their motion soft and uncommitted. You follow their path with your eyes, letting your thoughts drift with them. You are not in a rush to finish eating. You are not in a rush to do anything at all. Think again about the ziggurat, not because it commands attention, but because its shadow lies just beyond the edge of your memory, always present, always watching. You wonder if the priests have already completed their first rites. Perhaps incense has already been lit, curling upward in coils of pale smoke. Perhaps a single priest remains behind, sweeping the steps with a straw broom, gathering the silence left behind. You close your eyes. You can feel the city moving, not quickly, but steadily. Each home awakening like a flower in sunlight, each street exhaling its own rhythm. You do not need to go anywhere to be a part of it. You are already within it, the center of your own stillness. The city unfolds around you like a slow song. Later, perhaps, you will walk to the garden. There is a fig tree there, one whose branches bend low and sweet. You may sit beneath it, or not. You may pick a fig and let its syrup rest on your tongue, or not. Even these choices are gentle, like suggestions whispered across a sunbeam. The day does not demand your participation. It simply allows for it. A bell sounds in the distance, a single note, low and round. It might be from the temple. It might be from a merchant's cart. It doesn't matter. The sound arrives, lingers, and fades. You let it pass through you. You finish your meal. You drink the last sip of water. You set the dish aside with care. The sun has climbed higher now. The sky is clear, the color of faded lapis. There are no clouds, only birds, moving like quiet thoughts across the open space. You lie back again, letting your shoulders sink into the mat. Your body is heavier now, in the way a stone is heavy, not burdened, but sure of its place. You watch the light move slowly across the wall. You hear the soft breath of your own exhale. And you think, this is what a lazy day is meant to feel like. No striving, no urgency, only presence. The sun now sits in its quiet authority overhead, bathing Babylon in that golden, hazy glow only a midsummer day can manage. Neither glaring nor shy, simply there. Heavy and warm, but not cruel. The kind of sun that doesn't push, but leans. It stretches itself across the rooftops and stone courtyards, clings to the soft curves of clay jugs, soaks into the earth without asking for anything in return. You lie still in the shade, the woven mat beneath your back slightly warm, not from the sun itself, but from time. The reeds above your head shift lazily in the breeze, casting striped shadows that move slowly across your face. One eye opens, then closes again. There's nothing urgent waiting for it, nothing at all. Around you, the city has sunk into its midday hush. It's not silence. Babylon never sleeps entirely, but it rests. Fully, richly. The sounds that do remain are the gentle ones, the faint creak of rope as it swings from a pulley above a water well, the steady, distant beat of cloth being rinsed and slapped clean by patient hands, the rhythmic splash of water on stone. All else is muted. Even the birds have withdrawn into the foliage, their calls now reduced to the occasional flutter and whisper among fig leaves. The air smells of sun-warmed earth and old dates, sweet and sleepy. Your limbs feel long and loose now, like branches dipping toward the ground after rain. You shift your foot, just barely, to feel the edge of the mat beneath your toes. The contact grounds you. A reminder. You are not floating, though it might feel that way. You are held not just by the mat, but by the city itself, held by stone and stillness and sky. A soft knock, not at your own door, but somewhere down the alley. A polite, rhythmic tap. Then a pause. Then another. A familiar knock. It's followed by quiet conversation, the kind people have when the day is too hot for arguments. Words passed low and slow, drifting along the wall like dandelion fluff. You do not listen for content. Only the tone matters. Calm, unhurried. No one here has forgotten how to be still. You sit up again, slowly. Your hands rest in your lap, and for a while, you simply watch the shadows. They've grown longer since morning, creeping in from the far edge of the courtyard. The light isn't harsh anymore. It's thick now, syrupy and gold, like honey melting on flatbread. You breathe it in deeply. It tastes of old dust and warm, metal, familiar, aged, real. There's a jug of water near the door, the surface covered with a fine cloth to keep out flies. You pour a small cup, careful not to spill a drop. The clay is cool against your fingers. You drink slowly, each mouthful grounding you further into this soft, forgotten hour. Outside your courtyard, the streets are not empty, but they are hushed. Someone walks by, a boy with a bundle of dried herbs over his shoulder. He wears no shoes, and his footsteps are almost silent against the baked earth. He doesn't look up. He doesn't need to. He knows the city sees him, knows its rhythm as surely as the river knows its banks. He disappears around a corner, and the breeze carries the faint smell of mint and thyme into your space. You settle back once more, lying flat. The air is still but not heavy. It presses against your skin with the weight of soft linen. You feel it move through the open courtyard, stirring just enough to rustle the ends of your tunic. It is not hot, not cold. It is simply diaith there, another quiet participant in the day. You think again of the river, not because it calls to you, but because it has become a constant in your mind now, like the slow beat of a drum heard through walls. You imagine its banks, where children crouch, beside the reeds, flicking water at one another with cupped hands. You imagine a lone fisherman resting his elbows on the side of his boat, watching the current with the same patience he gives to the gods. Perhaps later, if the mood calls, you might walk there, or not. Even the possibility is restful. There is no obligation in Babylon today, no hour demanding your presence, no voice shouting from rooftops. The world, somehow, has remembered that life need not be filled to be full. It can be slow, it can be small, and still so completely alive. A single bee buzzes by your ear, not frantically, just passing. It visits the flowering vine by the wall, dips its legs into the yellow blossoms, and moves on. You follow its path with your eyes until it vanishes into the sunlight. Then you rest your head back against your arms and stare upward again. Above, the sky is nearly white now, not from clouds, but from sheer brightness. You can see faint bird shapes moving across it, tiny dark specks gliding on invisible currents. You wonder if they feel the same hush you do, if, high above Babylon, the air carries its own kind of stillness. The fig tree in the neighbouring courtyard sways slightly. Its broad leaves shift, overlapping in silence. You hear the soft plop of a fig falling to earth. No one rushes to gather it. It will wait, like everything else. You remember a line, something an old woman once said in passing years ago, that the gods speak loudest when we do not. You never understood it then, but now, lying here in the thick gold of afternoon, with no desire, no movement, no voice, now you think you might, you don't pray, but you listen, and in the soft press of silence against your skin, in the breath of air moving through your open space, in the faint sounds of life unfolding just beyond the walls, you feel a kind of answer, not in words, in presence, the same presence that has been here for thousands of years, that watched over the birth of empires and the planting of dates, that glowed in the fire of the temple lamps and settled like dust on the tablets of scribes. That still waits here every afternoon for anyone still enough to notice. You do not know how long you lie like this, but eventually the sun begins to lean once more, its brightness softening into something amber, something lower. The shadows on your wall are longer now. Your limbs feel heavier again, but it is the weight of ease, not burden. You roll slowly to your side and breathe. There is nothing to do, nothing to complete, only this. Evening arrives not with ceremony, but like an old friend slipping quietly into the room. The sun has begun its descent behind the western horizon, pulling its long golden light across the rooftops of Babylon. It doesn't hurry, and neither does the city. The walls glow with the memory of heat, the colour of honey and ochre, and the air, while still warm, carries a subtle shift. Cooler now, with the faintest hint of damp earth and distant water. You are still in your courtyard, though. You've moved with the light, following the comfort of shade like a cat. You've hardly spoken today. No words have been needed. And now, as the light grows long and amber, and the sky above melts from blue to a soft gradient of apricot and lavender, you find yourself watching, just watching. A clay jar of water rests beside you, its surface beaded with condensation from the long day. You lift it to your lips and drink slowly. The water tastes of stone and time, and somehow that is perfect. The city, too, is shifting now. It does not stir with chaos or noise, but with small, deliberate actions, bare feet padding across balconies, the hush of reed blinds being lowered, the soft scrape of pots gathered in preparation for the evening meal. From somewhere nearby, the scent of lentils and herbs begins to drift upward, mingling with the smoke from tiny kitchen fires being coaxed back to life. A dog barks lazily. A goat bleats in reply. No one rushes. This is the hour Babylon knows best, the in-between hour, between day and night, between doing and resting, between what was and what might still come. It is a sacred space, not because of gods or rituals, but because of its stillness. It is the breath held gently before sleep, and you are in the middle of it. A child's voice sings softly from another courtyard. It's a lullaby, simple and circular, the kind that winds itself around the evening like a ribbon. You don't know the words, but you recognize the feeling, a song sung not to be heard, but to be felt. It becomes part of the air, like the dust, like the perfume of cooking lentils, like the orange thread of sunset stretching across the sky. You stand slowly and walk to the far edge of your courtyard, where a small wooden stool rests beneath a fig tree. The leaves have darkened now, and the branches sway with the easy rhythm of twilight. You sit, your back straight but relaxed, your feet flat on the worn bricks beneath. From here, you can see the alley, where a handful of neighbours are sitting, quietly in doorways, talking in low tones. Some are just listening. Some are shelling beans or slicing onions. The work is small, and the voice is softer still. A breeze arrives, it slides around the corners of the buildings and into your courtyard, lifting the edge of your tunic and whispering across your skin. It carries the scent of river mud and sun-warmed reeds. It smells like the end of the day. You close your eyes and let it pass through you, and for a long while, you do nothing at all. You don't think. You don't plan. You simply exist in this small, ancient moment in the deep, amber quiet of Babylon. Somewhere, a fire is lit, not loudly, not suddenly. You don't even see it, only feel it, in the faint warmth that drifts on the breeze, and the scent of wood smoke beginning to curl upward into the darkening sky. The smoke does not rise quickly. It spins lazily, dancing its way into the fading light. You follow it with your gaze until it disappears into the soft blue above. Your thoughts begin to wander again, but gently, like leaves on a slow river. Think of the baker you saw once, years ago, who used to sing to the loaves as they baked, believing it made them rise better. You think of the old woman who sold honey and never charged the same price twice, not because she was dishonest, but because she believed every day had its own value. You think of the boy who used to sit by the fountain, tying reeds into tiny boats and setting them loose into the city's gutters after every rain. All of them are somewhere in Babylon still, or if not, their echoes remain. Babylon is full of echoes, not loud ones, not like the kind shouted in halls or carved in stone. These are the soft echoes, the kind that live in the way sunlight touches a wall, or how a breeze carries a smell from one courtyard to the next, or how a laugh sounds different depending on the hour of the day. You open your eyes again. The sky has deepened now, more lavender than apricot, with a thin line of orange still burning low above the rooftops. The first star appears, pale and blinking. A second follows. They don't arrive all at once. They enter with care, just as everything does here. You stand, stretch, and quietly light a small lamp of your own. Its glow is faint, golden, shaped by the gentle hands that moulded the clay. The flame dances inside it, tiny and alive. You place it beside the mat where you will lie again soon. Not yet, but soon. From a nearby home, laughter rises, soft, tired laughter. The kind that says, "The day is done. We did what we could." You smile without meaning to. Babylon has not changed, not really. Beneath all its history and grandeur and names carved into the dust, it has always been like this, a place of ordinary magic, of slow days, of people sitting quietly in courtyards as the sky changes colour. Above them, you sit once more, now on your mat, legs folded, lamp flickering near your ankle. The shadows around you lengthen, blur, and eventually disappear. What remains is the soft hum of nighttime coming to life. A lull, a stillness. The city does not sleep all at once, but it yawns now, openly, stretching into the darkness. You do not speak. There is no need. Night in Babylon is not empty. It is full of softness, of slowness, of spaces that hold the hush of the day like water in a jar. The lamp beside you flickers gently, its flame rising and dipping in time with the breath of the courtyard. It casts a circle of light no wider than your outstretched hand, and yet it feels like enough. Everything beyond that glow recedes into quiet shadows. But those shadows do not feel dark or cold. They feel safe, like a blanket wrapped around the edges of the world. You lie once more on your mat, the weave of it familiar now against the skin of your back. The clay beneath still holds the memory of the sun, though the breeze that drifts across your face is cool and scented faintly with ash, water, and fig leaves. You let one hand rest across your chest and the other beside you, fingers curled slightly. You are not thinking, not truly, only feeling. Above you, the stars are beginning to reveal themselves in clusters. Not bright yet, just soft pinpricks, blinking into being as if surprised to find the sky so still. There is no moon tonight, or if there is, it has not yet risen. You are glad for that. The stars deserve the stage. They hang like ancient memories above Babylon, unchanged, unhurried. A few of them you recognize. A few you only think you do. But all of them are familiar. Somewhere nearby, someone begins to play a reed flute. It is not loud. It doesn't ask to be noticed. The notes come slowly, spaced far apart, like drops of water falling from a jug. Each sound hangs in the air, just long enough to shimmer, then disappears into the warm night. You do not try to follow the melody. It is not a tune to follow. It is a tune to rest inside. The courtyard walls are silent now. No more footsteps, no more sweeping, no more doors opening and closing. Just the breath of the city, the far-off trickle of water, the occasional cough from a neighbouring rooftop, and that soft, persistent music. It lulls you, as it has lulled so many before you. You wonder how many nights like this Babylon has seen. Thousands, perhaps. Tens of thousands. Each one folded into the next, like pages in a book that no one is writing, but everyone is reading. You feel yourself becoming part of it, not as a character or a story, but as a detail. A sliver of stillness. A pause in the rhythm of a living city. A small moth flutters near the lamp. It hovers briefly, drawn to the flame, then retreats again, into the dark. You watch it with soft eyes. It is a tiny thing, pale and unsure, and yet here it is, moving with its own gentle certainty. Like you, it is part of the quiet now. The stars grow brighter, not all at once, but gradually, until the sky is a deep indigo and the stars hang in layers. You count a few, then lose track. It doesn't matter. They are not there to be counted. They are there to be present with. Some drift lazily across the sky, small, slow-moving streaks of light, like thoughts passing in the mind. The flute fades. Its last notes linger like warmth after a fire. The silence that follows is deeper, but not heavier. It feels like the city exhaled. You shift slightly, pulling the thin blanket up over your shoulders. It carries the scent of dust and smoke and sun, the smell of the day, now wrapped around, you in the night. From beyond your courtyard, you hear the creak of a water jug being lifted. Someone else, awake. Maybe they couldn't sleep. Maybe they don't want to. Not when the night is this soft. You imagine them stepping onto their rooftop, their feet bare, the jug balanced lightly in one hand. Maybe they're looking at the stars too. Maybe they're listening to the silence. The city is vast, but tonight it feels small. Not in size, but in closeness. As though all the courtyards have leaned in toward each other. As though all the doorways have opened slightly. As though every person lying on their mat tonight is sharing the same breath, the same dreams, the same soft thoughts that ripple like moonlight across a still surface. You think of the Euphrates again, not the river itself now, but the spaces around it, the quiet walkways where reeds grow tall, the places where nightbirds perch on stone ledges and look down into the water, waiting. You picture someone walking there now, their feet brushing against the sand, the river whispering beside them, the stars overhead like scattered stories not yet told. You yawn, not because you are tired, but because the night invites it. Your limbs feel heavier now, your thoughts slower, your breath longer and deeper. The mat beneath you might as well be a cloud. The air around you has thickened into something tender and weightless. Another sound reaches you, this one barely more than a sigh, a string being plucked, somewhere far away. Then silence again. Even the sounds seem to rest between themselves now, giving space, giving grace. You shift once more, turning to lie on your side, your cheek against the mat, your eyes half-lidded, gazing out across the floor toward the edge of the lamplight. That little flame dances still, patient and bright, like a companion, keeping watch while you drift. There is nothing more to do, no more to see, no more to think about. The day has laid itself down, and the night has pulled a blanket over it. You are within that blanket too. The wind makes a single pass through your courtyard, slow and cool, lifting the edges of the shadows one last time before settling again. You close your eyes. The night has reached its quietest hour. It is the part of the night that lies far beyond twilight, long past the evening songs and lantern glow, deep into that realm where time no longer ticks, but drifts, soft and round and unmarked. The dish lamp beside your mat has burned low, its tiny flame now just a golden bead trembling in the still air. Even the shadows seem to have dozed, settling gently against the walls, content to simply exist. You lie on your back, breathing softly, eyes half-lidded beneath the arch of the stars. They're brighter now, countless and calm, scattered like sand across a dark velvet cloth. They do not shimmer fiercely. They hum almost, ancient, steady, distant yet familiar. The sky above Babylon looks the same tonight as it has for centuries. You could be anywhere in time, and still it would be like this. The stars keep no appointments. From somewhere nearby, a soft rustling, a palm frond brushing gently against a wall, or perhaps a reed curtain stirred by a lazy breeze. You don't turn to look. The sound isn't a question, and you don't need an answer. It's simply the world moving gently around you, even in sleep. Far away, you hear the river. Not the roar of it, not even the splash of oars, but the deep hush of flowing water, like breath through a giant lung. The Euphrates never sleeps. It moves slowly in the dark, cradling Babylon's edges, whispering its stories to the roots of fig trees and the feet of stone bridges. You imagine it winding through the city as if through a dream, tracing the quiet lines between sleeping courtyards and empty streets, and the city it's sleeping now, truly, deeply. Doors are closed, lights are out, the ovens have cooled. Even the cats that prowled the alleys earlier have tucked themselves away into clay niches and warm corners. There is no footfall now, no voices, only the hush, the sacred full silence of a people breathing in their rest. Your own breath is slow, measured without thought, in, out, a rhythm older than speech. You shift slightly, drawing your blanket a bit closer. The air is cooler now, but not sharp, just enough to nudge you toward deeper comfort. The breeze moves again through the courtyard, curling under the mat, tugging gently at your hair. It smells faintly of wet brick and olive wood and ashes. Earthy, honest, the scent of a city at rest. You picture the ziggurat now, not in the day when its steps are busy with sandals and offerings and chants, but now, under the stars, tall and silent, still as a mountain. Its stones hold the heat of the sun, but its terraces are cloaked in night. You imagine the gods sleeping too, not far above, not in another world, but here, tucked into the folds of Babylon, watching with quiet eyes. A single owl calls out, once. Its cry echoes softly through the alleys and fades. Then silence again, the kind of silence you don't hear, but feel. Heavy, like a warm quilt draped across your shoulders. You sink into it. There's a jug of water beside you. You reach out slowly, fingers curling around the cool handle. You don't drink, just hold it for a while. It's smooth, slightly damp from the air. A simple vessel made from the same clay that shaped your courtyard floor, your walls, the whole body of the city. You set it down gently and exhale. You think of the scribe you passed days ago, the one who sat cross-legged in the temple portico, tablet balanced on his knees, stylus moving slowly. What was he writing, you wonder? A prayer? A list of grain rations? A poem for no one? The marks he made are dry now, somewhere in the dark, tucked among hundreds of others in a shelf no one will open tonight. But the clay remembers. Babylon remembers, even in its quietest hour. It holds the weight of its stories like warm embers in a hearth. They glow faintly, not to be read, but to be felt. You can sense them in the stillness layered into the very air. The loves and losses, the idle gossip, the songs hummed in kitchens, the prayers whispered to unseen gods. All of it still here. You let one arm rest across your chest and the other fall loosely at your side. Your body is heavy now, not with fatigue, but with peace. Every part of you feels held, as if the earth beneath your mat were cradling you like a parent with a child. You hear something else, barely a distant lullaby, maybe from another rooftop, or perhaps just the memory of one. A tune you've heard before but never learned, curling gently around the corners of your mind. It's sung not to be understood, but to soothe. You hum a single note, then stop. It's enough. The stars above seem to pulse faintly now, not with urgency, but with knowing. They've watched countless nights like this, watched Babylon be built and rebuilt, watched people live and die and dream beneath the same sky. You gaze up at them, and for a moment you are without thought. Only breath, only warmth, only the quiet press of night, and you realize there is nowhere to be. Not now, not ever. This is enough. The cool clay beneath you, the hush of the courtyard, the lamp's tiny flame, the soundless stars, the whole city wrapped in silence like a shawl, the river carrying its secrets, the wind turning slow circles above rooftops. The moment stretches long and soft, not empty, but full of gentle stillness. The kind that requires nothing, the kind that holds everything. You close your eyes again. The stars are high now, high and steady, unmoving to the eye, though they've crossed a great portion of the sky since the last time you really looked. The night has settled fully, deeply. It has gone past mere darkness. It has entered the realm of true stillness, the kind that carries its own quiet weight, the kind that makes you forget what day it is, or if such a thing even matters anymore. Your eyes open softly. There is no sound to greet them, no sharp noise, just a velvet quiet, so complete it feels like the city itself has wrapped you in its arms. The lamp beside your mat has gone out on its own, burned down to nothing but a thin line of soot on clay. But even without the flame, the courtyard is not entirely dark. Starlight paints the world in gentle shades of blue and silver. Shadows lean in strange directions now. Familiar objects look softer, rounder, less distinct. But they do not frighten. They soothe. You lie still for a long while, unsure whether you are awake or simply dreaming with your eyes open. It doesn't matter. In Babylon, during this kind of hour, the line between waking and dreaming is thin as silk. You could be anywhere. On your mat, on the bank of the Euphrates, beneath the Ziggurat's massive shadow. And the quiet would follow you like a faithful companion. A soft breeze drifts through the courtyard. It carries the faintest scent of ash and sweet herbs. Someone, somewhere, has added a final branch to their dying fire. You imagine the glowing embers in a small clay oven, perhaps still cradling the shape of bread that was long since pulled away. You think of the hands that placed it there, steady, practiced, unhurried. Everything in Babylon moves that way when the world is at peace. Slowly, mindfully, like it has always done and always will. You sit up gently. Your bones do not protest. They simply shift, join you in your silence. You wrap your blanket more tightly around your shoulders, feeling its weight settle along your back. The night air has cooled just slightly more. Not cold, just different. You inhale deeply. The coolness slides down your throat like water from a shaded well. Above, the sky is so clear it feels close. You can see more stars than before. Layers upon layers of them, like scattered seeds in an endless field. There is no moon yet, or perhaps it has chosen not to rise tonight. You don't miss it. The darkness is kind. It doesn't hide you. It holds you. You walk quietly to the edge of the courtyard. Each step is soundless against the worn clay. You pass your fingers over a stack of pots near the wall, feeling the texture of rough, fired clay beneath your fingertips. It's cool now, the warmth of the day long faded. You touch them not for any reason, but because they are there, because they belong to this moment as much as you do. You reach the doorway. The alley outside is bathed in the same gentle starlight, silent, empty. A breeze slips past your ankles, as if it too is just passing through. You step out. Babylon at night is not asleep. It is resting. There is a difference. You walk slowly. There is no need for direction. Your feet know the way. Past shuttered doorways, quiet fountains, the occasional soft snore echoing from behind a wall. The city feels like it's breathing around you. In, out, the pulse of old stone and older stories. You pass a small fig tree growing between two homes. Its leaves are still, but you can smell the sweetness of its fruit lingering in the cool air. One overripe fig has fallen, split open on the stone path. A beetle investigates it with patient legs. You crouch and watch for a while. The beetle is in no rush. Neither are you. Further along, you find the street that leads toward the river. It's not far. Just a few more quiet turns and narrow paths. You know it by scent before you see it. That deep, earthy, moving scent of water travelling through a sleeping city. The Euphrates, eternal companion of Babylon. It moves like a dream in the dark. You reach the bank. There is no one here, only the river, flowing thick and dark, reflecting stars as if they were drifting on its surface. The reeds rustle faintly, bowing with the breeze. You step to the edge, kneel down, and dip your fingers into the water. It's cool, alive. You cup a small handful and let it trickle back, watching it disappear. Across the river, torches burn low on the distant banks. Their light is weak from here, but steady. Perhaps a ferry is tied up there, or a guard rests beside a watchpost. You feel no threat, only company. The river does not divide, it connects, just as the night connects all things. Houses, people, thoughts, dreams. Even this moment to the ones that came long before. You stay by the water for a long time, not doing anything, not even thinking much, just being. A bird calls once, a night heron maybe. Its voice is low and lonely, then silence again. You turn to walk back only when your body asks you to, when your shoulders feel heavier with peace. The path home is unchanged. Babylon waits for you as it always has, with doorways that blink in the starlight, with courtyards that remember every footfall. You walk slowly, each step an echo of thousands who have done the same. You reach your home, step quietly through the doorway, and return to your mat. The blanket welcomes you. The night leans close, warm and dark. The stars have shifted a little. Not much, just enough to remind you that time is still moving, even when you can't feel it. You lie back down. The courtyard holds its breath around you, then exhales. You close your eyes. The hour is deep now. That quiet space just before the first blue edge of dawn appears. The night is not over, but it's dreaming its final dreams. Babylon is wrapped in them, layered in hush, layered in shadow, layered in the softest thoughts. You stir, but only slightly. Not because you are restless, but because the air itself feels like it's shifting. Just a little, like the city is breathing in before it breathes out the day. Your eyes remain closed. There is no reason to rise yet. No temple bell, no voices, not even the first bird song. Only a heavy quiet, like velvet draped across the whole world. And yet, beneath it all, something begins to change. It is not loud. It is not even clear. But the silence has a shape now, a pulse beneath it, like the faint vibration before a drum is touched. You open your eyes slowly. The stars are still there, but fading. Their sharpness has softened. The darkness of the sky has lost its pitch. It is still night, yes, but not quite. That delicate blue, like crushed lapis diluted in river water, is beginning to spread thinly at the horizon. Eastward, always eastward, where the sun lives. You lie still, watching it come. Not the sun yet, no, but the breath before it. The cool edge of morning. A sigh that moves through the city, brushing over doorways, slipping through reed screens, curling along rooftops. It comes into your courtyard with a hush, nudging a loose thread on your mat, stirring the hem of your blanket. You breathe it in, it tastes like clay and dew, like the river and the stone it runs over, like sleep about to break, but not yet. You rise slowly. Your blanket falls away with a whisper, folding itself without effort. You stretch your arms, feeling the way your body holds the stillness of the night. Nothing is stiff, nothing is sore. You have moved so little, and yet your limbs feel full, like clay cups filled overnight with cool water. There is no urgency to your motions, no reason for haste. You walk barefoot across the courtyard. The bricks are cool beneath your feet. Not cold, just touched by the absence of heat. You pause near the jug of water and take a sip, and it greets your tongue like a forgotten memory, the first swallow of the day. It settles deep within you. Beyond the courtyard wall, the city is beginning to stretch. Not outwardly, not with noise or motion, but internally. You can feel it, like the way a tree seems to lean just before a breeze returns. The people are not awake yet, but their sleep is loosening. A few sounds confirm it. Wood shifting, cloth rustling, a distant cough. Nothing more. You step into your doorway and sit. The alley beyond is blue now. Not the bright blue of midday skies, but the gentle dusty blue of dreams dissolving. Shadows stretch longer, drawn by the first traces of light. The world is still wrapped in stillness, but it is a lighter stillness now. A woman walks past your door. She does not speak. She does not look over. But you see her. She carries a bundle of herbs beneath her arm, and her steps are soft, slow, as though she is still half asleep. You wonder if she's going to the temple, or perhaps to leave something at a friend's door. There is no weight to her footsteps. She moves like someone who knows the world will wait for her. A rooster calls once, just once. Not a cry of triumph, not yet. Just a reminder. It is coming. The light. You return to the center of your courtyard, gathering your blanket once more and folding it with deliberate care. You press your palm flat against your mat, then slowly lift it. The warmth of your body still lingers there. You smile at that. The stars are nearly gone. A few stubborn ones remain, blinking faintly, like candle flames at the edge of a breeze. The sky above is pale now, washed soft with blue and grey, and the rooftops are outlined in silver. And then, there, on the horizon, a line of gold, not thick, not bright, just a thread of honey-coloured light unravelling across the eastern sky. The first true colour of the day. The stars retreat. The sky opens. The city holds its breath. You hear water again. This time nearer, someone drawing it from a well, the creak of the rope, the splash of the bucket returning to its depth. Then footsteps, a jug being lifted, a gate closing with a hush. The scent of bread begins to drift, not strong, just the first whisper of it. Someone has stoked a fire. The embers have remembered their task. You imagine flour being dusted into bowls, hands kneading gently, the quiet rhythm of morning labour. No shouting, no command, just practice, ritual, love. And then, light. It spills gently into your courtyard, like a guest arriving quietly at a gathering already underway. It slides along the bricks, kisses the wall, and finally touches your skin. It's warm, tender, new. The day has begun, not in a rush, not with noise or flurry, but in the same way the night departed, slowly, with reverence, as though the very city has chosen to honour the way you've spent your day of stillness, stretching it a little longer, a gift of continued quiet before the true bustle returns. You sit in the sunlight, letting it fill you. No thoughts press forward. No chores chase you, not yet. You are simply here. And for now, that is enough. The hour is deep now. That quiet space just before the first blue edge of dawn appears. The night is not over, but it's dreaming its final dreams. Babylon is wrapped in them, layered in hush, layered in shadow, layered in the softest thoughts. You stir, but only slightly. Not because you are restless, but because the air itself feels like it's shifting. Just a little, like the city is breathing in before it breathes out the day. Your eyes remain closed. There is no reason to rise yet. No temple bell, no voices, not even the first bird song. Only a heavy quiet, like velvet draped across the whole world. And yet, beneath it all, something begins to change. It is not loud, it is not even clear. But the silence has a shape now, a pulse beneath it, like the faint vibration before a drum is touched. You open your eyes slowly. The stars are still there, but fading. Their sharpness has softened. The darkness of the sky has lost its pitch. It is still night, yes, but not quite. That delicate blue, like crushed lapis diluted in river water, is beginning to spread thinly at the horizon. Eastward. Always eastward. Where the sun lives. You lie still, watching it come. Not the sun yet, no, but the breath before it. The cool edge of morning. A sigh that moves through the city, brushing over doorways, slipping through reed screens, curling along rooftops. It comes into your courtyard with a hush, nudging a loose thread on your mat, stirring the hem of your blanket. You breathe it in, it tastes like clay and dew, like the river and the stone it runs over, like sleep about to break, but not yet. You rise slowly. Your blanket falls away with a whisper, folding itself without effort. You stretch your arms, feeling the way your body holds the stillness of the night. Nothing is stiff, nothing is sore. You have moved so little, and yet your limbs feel full, like clay cups filled overnight with cool water. There is no urgency to your motions, no reason for haste. You walk barefoot across the courtyard. The bricks are cool beneath your feet. Not cold, just touched by the absence of heat. You pause near the jug of water and take a sip, and it greets your tongue like a forgotten memory, the first swallow of the day. It settles deep within you. Beyond the courtyard wall, the city is beginning to stretch. Not outwardly, not with noise or motion, but internally. You can feel it, like the way a tree seems to lean just before a breeze returns. The people are not awake yet, but their sleep is loosening. A few sounds confirm it. Wood shifting, cloth rustling, a distant cough. Nothing more. You step into your doorway and sit. The alley beyond is blue now. Not the bright blue of midday skies, but the gentle dusty blue of dreams dissolving. Shadows stretch longer, drawn by the first traces of light. The world is still wrapped in stillness, but it is a lighter stillness now. A woman walks past your door. She does not speak. She does not look over. But you see her. She carries a bundle of herbs beneath her arm, and her steps are soft, slow, as though she is still half asleep. You wonder if she's going to the temple, or perhaps to leave something at a friend's door. There is no weight to her footsteps. She moves like someone who knows the world will wait for her. A rooster calls once, just once. Not a cry of triumph, not yet. Just a reminder. It is coming. The light. You return to the center of your courtyard, gathering your blanket once more and folding it with deliberate care. You press your palm flat against your mat, then slowly lift it. The warmth of your body still lingers there. You smile at that. The stars are nearly gone. A few stubborn ones remain, blinking faintly, like candle flames at the edge of a breeze. The sky above is pale now, washed soft with blue and grey, and the rooftops are outlined in silver. And then, there, on the horizon, a line of gold, not thick, not bright, just a thread of honey-coloured light unravelling across the eastern sky. The first true colour of the day. The stars retreat, the sky opens, the city holds its breath. You hear water again. This time nearer, someone drawing it from a well, the creak of the rope, the splash of the bucket returning to its depth. Then footsteps, a jug being lifted, a gate closing with a hush. The scent of bread begins to drift, not strong, just the first whisper of it. Someone has stoked a fire. The embers have remembered their task. You imagine flour being dusted into bowls, hands kneading gently, the quiet rhythm of morning labour. No shouting, no command, just practice, ritual, love. And then, light. It spills gently into your courtyard, like a guest arriving quietly at a gathering already underway. It slides along the bricks, kisses the wall, and finally touches your skin. It's warm, tender, new. The day has begun, not in a rush, not with noise or flurry, but in the same way the night departed, slowly, with reverence, as though the very city has chosen to honour the way you've spent your day of stillness, stretching it a little longer, a gift of continued quiet before the true bustle returns. You sit in the sunlight, letting it fill you. No thoughts press forward. No chores chase you, not yet. You are simply here. And for now, that is enough.